Hello, lovely witches. This is Dawn, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. This is another episode of Shadow Magick Monday, and of course, yes, again, I missed Monday, but I think this is going to be the last one for a while anyway. I might throw one out there every once in a while, but I'm working on a binding spell that I want to do on somebody. Yes. And I want to do some videos about why I feel it's okay to bind this person. It's okay to overcome their will, to try and control them. So that's to come. All right. But I wanted to talk to you today about kind of a communication kind of thing. Well, let me tell you a story. That'll help get us started. I was riding in my friend's car in the passenger seat, and you have to understand, he is Italian. His parents are actually from Italy, so he's very high-strung already. He's an emotional kind of guy, but he's just a very wonderful friend. He's the best friend you could ever want. I mean, he's there for you, but he's very upsettable about when people do things that he thinks they should not be doing. So we're driving along, and somebody comes in and cuts in front of him, and he feels that was rude, so he's got to teach them a lesson. How dare you? I'm going to show you what that feels like, and I want you to stop doing that. So he whips around and he cuts in front of them in order to teach them a lesson. Well, the problem with that is, one, it's not our responsibility to teach other people a lesson. But the other thing is, you don't get to talk to that person because you're on the highway. And so there's no communication with them. What if they're having a bad day? What if they're in a hurry because if they're late one more time, they're going to lose their job? What if they just based it off, didn't see you, and it was a complete accident? Would you want to teach them a lesson once you knew the whole story as to why they did what they did? So what I'm trying to get across is that we waste a lot of time trying to correct other people's behavior, trying to punish them for what they did, trying to get them to agree with your opinion. And this is just, to me, a waste of energy. You can influence people so much more just by being yourself and expressing how you feel and what you're doing to do the right thing. That by far has more of an impression than cutting them off in traffic to teach them a lesson about cutting people off in traffic. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is your responsibility of teaching people how to treat you. So it's not your responsibility to teach other people a lesson. It's not your responsibility to get them to change their behavior. It is your responsibility to teach people how to treat you and how you want to be treated. A lot of us are really polite. We, oh, it's nothing, and we gloss it over. Oh, it's no big deal. Don't make a fuss over something that's nothing, so on and so forth. But I really want to challenge you to make an effort. If it means something to you, let people know, this is what I need you to do for me. This is what I need from you. If we're going to be in a friendship, in a good friendship, I need you to, fill in the blank. So, another story I wanted to tell you is, I was watching the news the other night, and on the news there was a report or story about this black woman, young black woman, who has a doctorate, I think it was in mental health, something like that. And she was in a Zoom call with, I'm going to guess, city council, because they said this councilman was talking to her through Zoom, and he's an older white man. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. Maybe it does. It depends on the situation, right? It depends on the people involved. So he's calling her Ms., And every time he says Ms., I apologize, I forgot her last name, but Ms. and then her last name, she would correct him and say, please address me as doctor, and then her last name. And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. And he says, well, it says here Ms. on the paper, and well, it doesn't really matter. After like the third time, maybe fourth time of her correcting him, well, it doesn't really matter. And that is so typical of people who want to, you don't matter. I'm going to treat you the way I want to. The way you want to be treated is not as important as the way I want to treat you. And it's very important to teach those people, not to teach them a lesson, but to teach them how you are to be addressed, how you will accept their behavior or not. If you don't accept their behavior, they need to leave your presence. And I know this sounds like you're very arrogant, but it's something that you need to do to learn to be true to yourself. Hopefully that makes sense. There's a fine line there between being in your ego and arrogant. This young woman was very classy, very down to earth, very level-headed. She did not get emotional. She didn't jump all over him and how dare you and any of that. She was just very polite and very straightforward. I want you to address me as doctor. Please address me as doctor. Nothing wrong with that. And I don't know what his problem was, why he couldn't bring himself to do that. Who cares what's written on the paper? She's telling you face to face, this is how I want you to address me. And if you're not going to comply, in today's world, we demand more respect. And he was fired. He did apologize. He did leave her a voice message apologizing, but he lost his job. We have to learn to be more compassionate and respectful. That's what all of this Black Lives Matters and in all of this stuff that's bubbling up like crazy is, hey, let's be more compassionate. Let's accept each other. I'm not a big fan of tolerance, because tolerance means I still don't like the fact that you're a Black person, but I'm going to not say anything or do anything. That's tolerance. Accepting is, I accept that you're another culture, maybe you're from another country, or maybe you have different DNA, your ancestors came from another country, but it doesn't matter. You're a human being, so I accept you, and I love you, and I have compassion for you, no matter what. That's where we need to get to, and that's where we're trying to get to, but there's a lot of resistance, so we're getting through the resistance, okay? So I just wanted to bring that message to you. It's again, it's about self-love. It's standing up for yourself, and you're building up your self-confidence. The trick, I don't know if it's a trick, but the best thing to do is to build up your self-love and self-confidence so that you can say, please address me as, without losing your cool, without getting in your ego and jumping all over that person. How dare you? And I got to teach you a lesson for mispronouncing my name or whatever. But it is important. And for people like me, it's important for me to know how to pronounce your name. I want to know how to pronounce your name properly. So if I mispronounce your name, please correct me, because I want to know. There are people out there who do want to know. And there are people out there who don't care, but they need to know that they need to change how they're addressing you. Okay, so hopefully that helps. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. I appreciate them. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your comments. Do something today that brings you joy and makes you feel good. And I love you all. And until next time, blessed be.